Well, good morning from Abundance Farm. Here's Saturday's series continuing. I'm going to try and send out these videos to you as regularly as I can. I need to keep working on this piece in some way, shape, or form. And if we end up meeting and we have some other things to talk about, we'll fill those days, I'm sure. So where I am is, it's all glued together. Phil and Skip, you didn't see this, but it went together fairly well, I would say. No mishaps or anything like that. That Slippy Gorilla Glue Clear is really amazing glue for this kind of thing where you've got a lot of resistance. The till went together very, very nicely. You might be able to see it's got this little decorative black and white band that I did. It's got rosewood pins that were drilled very accurately into the sides of the chest as well as into the lid. The fact that it opens and closes without binding is very, very appealing, very, very nice. I'm happy about that. And the two parts of the till, the front and the floor, all engage with the sides of the case. There's only a three-part glue up as part of the as a glue up. When the front went on, or the back went on, I forgot. It all was captured. So I made this base. You've sort of seen it to some degree before we got to this point. I was shaping it and sort of feeling my way along. I like it well enough. I think it's got some nice shape. I like the inflection points and those kinds of things. I did a little view of the end to sort of bring it tighter together because the end's much shorter, about half the length of the front. And it's still got the same inflection points, still got the same basic curves, same width of the floor at the floor. And I put them together on the floor, which is really important to look at this where it's actually going to be. And I didn't like it. I thought it's too sort of feminine for a piece that's much more C-chest and how it feels. It's quite boxy, but I'm going to hopefully break that up when I get the lid on. And I just didn't feel like the two of them were compatible with each other. I could make it work, but I don't think it's the best choice. And by the way, this is about as long as it is. It's about 3/8 of an inch longer on both ends. That's where there's going to be a molding acting as that transition. The base all the way around will be rabbited, so it has a rabbet that goes underneath the sides and the ends, the long and short ends of this piece, of the box. And it grabs, that rabbet grabs it. So that's what it actually rests on. There'll be probably some glue blocks and things like that, and to hold it in place. So it's resting not on just some sort of glue blocks, but on an actual mechanical part of the way the base is made. The base is going to be an integral, individual piece. The box will set down on it and be locked to it. They're always going to be married to each other. So I didn't like what I had, so I thought, let's start over again. And I did have this hanging in my shop. Some of you have seen it for probably, if you look around, it's been hanging as kind of an inspiration for a piece that I made quite a long time ago, much bigger piece, a chest as well with a big curved front for actually storing whiskey. And I like a lot of things about it. I like that it's tapered. I like that it's got the ebonization I was talking about. It's got this nice little emphasis of this brass ring here. It's got tenons in the top that lock it into the bottom. So I'm thinking that's what I was going to do. So if I take this off and replace it. And by the way, I could have gone with a square base, by which I mean just a board around all four sides, coming right to the floor, no toe kick or anything like that. That also might have worked. That's sort of a masculine base. But I felt like getting underneath here to clean it would probably be a nice thing. Not that it's not so heavy I couldn't move it, but I didn't like that base as much as I liked some other alternative. So when I take this off and superimpose this, you get a little bit of a sense of it. But it's way, way too big. We know that. So how do you scale that down? And I scaled it down to roughly what this piece needs, more something like this. And I don't know where that's going to go. And by the way, where it's positioned actually, and there's also going to be a molding on here. You can see it's sort of a little bit of a half round. It's quite shallow. There's going to be sort of a molding along here. I wanted to always have something down here to emphasize the base, as well as to hide a little bit of the sapwood and the part of the bottom of the pins here, because we have this sort of progression of pins, and now I'm going to be, want one similar in scale. So this thing will be somewhere positioned in here. I'm not sure where, but I need to make one or two. It's about 4 1/4 high, and I think it's about the right scale. It's the same taper as before, and then I'm going to have to figure out a way to make some tenons in the top of this. They'll probably be sewn out by hand. And those tenons will be at right angles to each other. So one tenon will go deeply into the front, one will go deeply into the side. It'd be nice to sort of, be further emphasis of locking together the bottom of the chest. but those will be probably 3/4 of an inch long or something like that. So it's really well locked in as much as I possibly can to engage it, because this is going to take a lot of stress, that leg, sliding it across the floor, especially if it's loaded up. So that's the next step, is to turn the leg, try that out, see if I like it, and if I do, I'll continue. So meanwhile, a little added bonus here. I've been working on a chest, a cabinet, and I've been doing this mother of pearl banding, which has been kind of fun. You can see it's quite fine, and little pieces breaking up between it, almost like a little stained glass. And it's on a little ebonized base that I made, you might call it, plinth, and that's made out of pear. And why am I using pear? Is because ebonizing pear is really nice because it's got the same ebony-like look of real ebony, and I'm not going to make this out of real ebony. The little banding is made out of ebony. As you can see, it's solid ebony with these very, very thin pieces of shell. You can see how thin they are. And I got these out of a shell that I actually got from a dinner we had in Japan. We were served abalone one night inside this huge thing, looked like a loaf of bread. And then I have, which was salt bread or something, and then that's how they cook it. And then I've got this little drawer which I've made, which some of you have seen, maybe, and that's olive to fit in with this whole Spanish theme of this piece. And a little ivory pull, and the door's done, and I'm putting polish on it. And I don't have a buyer for this yet, but I have 2 or 3 people that have expressed interest in these kind of cabinets. Okay, so I'm going to post this and see how it goes. Give me some feedback, and I'll continue. Have fun. Bye.